Hi, welcome to API demo video number lucky 7. So in our last video, we did the very basics of setting up an Express server. We set up our home route, and now we have this lovely message of hello there. So just going back for a moment and talking about what an API is, I'm assuming you have a little bit of an idea because you're watching this, but an API just serves data. We're not serving page views. We're not creating a website. We're literally just setting up routes that another user or developer can use. They basically point their program towards the endpoints that we're going to set up, and they get back data. Now, there's a lot of really big APIs out there. In fact, let's just pull up Google Map API, and you can get tons of different information that you can use in your programs. Really excellent stuff. And if there's any other interests you have, you can look up and see if there's an API for it. There probably is. So our API is going to be little and simple, but it's something that you could use for a future project to populate data that you can then call from your front end. And this will all make more sense in time. So right now we just have our little one root API that says message hello there. Let's go back to our code and look at exactly what's happening there. So I'm saying app.use, just go to this route, send a response, hello there. So one of the main conventions in APIs is called RESTful. And the other thing that you may hear in relationship to this is CRUD, C-R-U-D. So most APIs, well, a lot of APIs just serve data, but you can also use them to create, read, update, and delete resources. And we're going to be doing all of those functions. So you get a really good idea of how to interact with the database, and you have something that you can use. So the API that we're going to be building is for a very basic journal site. We're not going to have authentication. Maybe someday in the future I'll make some videos on that, but it's a bit of a tricky topic to start off with. So we're going to be able to create a journal entry, read all the journal entries that have been created so far, update a particular journal entry, and delete one. That's it. And that's actually going to be plenty of work for us to do. So now that we have our route, we're actually going to back up, and we're going to talk a little bit about our database. So go into source and go into model. Let's go into the terminal. Remember, hit Control-C if you want to stop your server from running. The first thing that we're going to do, because we're kind of changing tacks, is we have this Express setup branch, and we're done with that now. We're going to go back and add more Express functionality, but I want to commit this branch, get off of it, and get onto a different branch. So first thing that I'm going to do is git status, and this is going to show me the files that I've modified. So I've modified package.json because we put that start script in there, and I've modified the server file by adding anything to it. I'm going to git add the package.json. And then for the other files, other than the reason that I just do a straight up add on package or package lock is that the changes can be a lot, especially on the package lock, and I don't want to go through them line by line. But all of my other files, I like to go through line by line and do a patch add. So the way that you do that is git add -p with a space in between, and it breaks up all of the work you've done into hunks. Now, we don't have a lot here, so I'm just going to say, yeah, this hunk is good and we're done. But later on down the line, when we are touching multiple files in one commit, it's going to be really useful to go back and see what we've done and make sure that there's nothing left in there that we don't want to see. Okay, so if I do git status, now my files are green, meaning that they're in the staging area. I'm going to do a git commit dash m, set up basic express server. I'm using the present tense because, again, that's just a convention. I actually don't like that convention. For me, grammatically, I much prefer to do past tense, but I've been told a number of times that that's not the way, so I'm just going to do present tense for now. And now that I've had the commit, I'm going to git push. Now, if I try to just do a standard git push from here, I'm not on my master branch, so I'm going to get this error. Fatal, the current branch has no upstream branch. And then it gives me this little command here, the git push set upstream origin, blah, 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 blah. What this is saying is we don't have a version of this branch that you created on the remote GitHub server. It only exists locally. GitHub knows nothing about it. And so we need to tell GitHub to create this branch on the other side. So just how we said git remote, I believe in the beginning we had like a git add remote origin project. Now we're saying add the branch. So that's what I'm going to do. It is pushed up to our branch, and now we are going to go into this project on GitHub and merge it in. All right, so I'm back in API demo. You notice automatically GitHub already knows that this thing is here. If you ever can't find it, you just click on the branch here, and it's going to show you that you have a new branch. Okay, so open a pull request. So that little able to merge means that I don't have any conflicts. Conflicts happen when, often happen when two different people are working on a project and they've both written something different, like let's say on line 5, you're going to have an issue. And if you scroll down, it shows you exactly what is being added. So as you can see, our empty server file is now full. We have a new start script. Because there's no merge conflicts, I'm going to create the pull request. It's going to check once again and make sure that there isn't an issue if we merge this. There's no conflicts, so I'm going to merge it. So now we are merging this into master. We don't need this remote local branch anymore. We're never going to work on it again, so I'm going to delete it. And now if I go back into API demo, we have one branch again. We have 3 commits. And if I go into source and I go into server, there's our code. All right, so now I'm going to go back. And I promise when we're switching to future branches, I'm not going to walk through this every time. I'm going to be doing it much faster. But I just want you to really understand what we're doing and get in the habit of making these branches and merging them in. It seems like a lot of work at first, but it becomes very second in nature. So now I'm going to check out the master branch. Now, if you go and look on the machine, why is our server file empty? It's because the master branch doesn't know anything about any of the changes that we've made on our other branch. And so we need to update master. So I'm going to say git pull. Now, all of our changes from the master branch of the remote repository have been added back into our local, and everybody's synced up and happy, which is exactly what we want. So now I'm going to check out a new branch, and I'm going to say SQL setup. So now I'm on this new branch. I'm in model. And I'm going to actually cd into source, cd into model, and I want to create a new file here. And the file that I'm going to create is going to be called schema, that's S-C-H-E-M-A rather, .SQL. And so now there's a new file in this folder. So in the next video, we're going to, well, actually, you know what? I'm going to give a brief intro, and then in the next video, we'll get right to coding. So SQL is a separate language from JavaScript. It is a database language. It is very time-tested. Um, Companies have been using SQL databases for a really long time. Postgres, which is the version that we're using, is an open source version. You may have also heard of MySQL, which is the Microsoft version. Oracle also has their own version of SQL. We're using Postgres because we don't want to pay for anything. And again, Postgres has been around for quite some time. And we're going to set up the structure of our data in our project using this database, and then we're going to be able to store the journal entries that people create. We're going to be able to store the updates. We're going to be able to delete things from the database. So if you've never worked with SQL before, it may sound intimidating, but I promise you, it's going to be fun. All right, see you in the next video.